Hello, brothers and sisters. This is Janice again. Today is January the 25th, 2018. I want to let everyone know that I had a dream this morning. It was a very prophetic dream that I had this morning. The Lord woke me up at 6:12 a.m. From this dream. It looked like it was a massive military takeover, and everyone, and I do mean everyone, young and old, was taken into captivity. People everywhere was forced to follow these military men, and if we did not go willingly, they had put some type of device or technology on our hands that prevented people from getting away or even driving because it like stuck to us and everything we came into contact with and everything else that we came into contact with. So it was like a device that I can't really explain it. It's like you didn't have control over it, and it caused your body to I don't know, like someone else had control over your body and it like weighed it down and it prevented you from doing anything pretty much. I remember being near this man, and him and I we got caught by one of the military men. They threatened us with these machine guns and even began to kill some people. I was extremely terrified. The world was no longer the way I once remembered it. I wouldn't let them catch me. I kept running away. I managed to escape a couple of guards by running outside of this holding place. And this holding place was exactly what it sounds like. It was a place that they held a lot of people against their will and with like at gunpoint. And it was a holding place for the civilians in the area. The guards began to run after me, and I made it outside, and there was a lot of people out there. It was like people everywhere. And then I looked up and seen an airplane. Now this airplane crashed from the sky to the ground and killed massive amount of people. This airplane, it was flying up over to like my left, and it came down, and it was really, really, really close. And it hit the ground. I mean, it killed so many people. So many people. And I remember I was terrified. I was terrified. Then I heard a voice saying not to worry because Yah, Elohim, God will protect his people, everyone whose name found written in the book of life. And the voice that I heard, it was in a form of a person. It was a person inside of the dream, and she was like a little girl. And even though planes and everything was hitting the ground and killing people, she couldn't be touched. I can't explain it. It was like she obviously was not from this world. She was like a messenger from God, and she couldn't get hit or anything. And she looked at me and she said to me, "Do not worry, because Yah Elohim, God, will protect His people, which is everyone whose name was found written in the book of life." And for us not to worry at all, because He was about to cause more planes to fall unto all of the evil people round about us. But He assured us that they would not fall upon His people. She then told me, the voice told me to stay still. So I looked around and see my family, some of them. I remember seeing my sisters, my mother, my kids, nieces and nephews. And I got on my knees and began to pray to the Most High, because the voice informed me that the airplanes would hit all around me. I mean, very, very close to me, because some people was not supposed to make it, is what I got in my dream. Like even people that was like in front of me or near me was not going to make it. And so the plane was going to hit even that close. And I was so nervous trying to figure out how we was not going to be touched with the impact of two more airplanes crashing. that the Most High was about to cause or allow. I was told then that this was an act to save his people so that we can flee afterwards. So as I was on my knees praying, the people, like other people, and then my family also, we began to hold hands. And how it started was I got on my knees and I started praying, and I felt someone touch my hand. And I kind of looked over, and I believe it was like my niece, or it was like a little girl. And then we started praying together. And then I gradually started to see more and more people holding hands. And we was all holding hands, and we were crying out to God for his protection. And it was as if we made one sound, like together with our cry. And disaster was all around us. I mean, people running, people screaming, people dying, crashing. It was just disaster all around us. But it did not come up on us. It did not come up on us. People was looking at us in disbelief because we were all on our knees in the midst of this all. And people was in disbelief because of our hedge of protection that we had around us. After it was over, I remember I had got up and I was walking past some military guards or men, and they didn't do anything to me. And the reason why I said it, they didn't do anything to me, because they was killing people. They was killing everybody, who was not obeying them. And I remember walking past these military guards, and they didn't do anything to me because everyone was still in shock about what just happened. And then one man stopped me as I was crying and I was praising God, and he had made a comment. He made a degrading comment to me. So I began to prophesy, like something like took over me, and I started prophesying, and I started talking to a couple of the men, the military men, and then like all in the name of the Lord. And then I remember they were amazed about how the Lord gave me insight about them. So I was caused to speak in another tongue. I started speaking in tongues really loud, and I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop at all. And I was crying, and I just kept speaking in tongues in another tongue. They started to laugh at me. And call me crazy, but I cried out to Abba even the more and spoke louder, praising him. And they said, yeah, let her go about her way, because she is just crazy. But a couple of other guards they looked at me and they were afraid, because I was calling up on my Lord. And so they knew that it was true. They knew that it was real. And they was kind of afraid, like, I don't know if that's something I really want to do when, considering what we just witnessed, that they just came from out there and they had this hedge of protection around them, and they should have been dead, but nothing touched them. And as I was writing this stuff down this morning at 6:44, the Holy Spirit told me, see how God moves. I heard a voice that, see how God moves. I just recently started to get into the concordance, and I looked up that time, and when I looked it up, it meant occurrence, shadow, being under a shadow, primitive root. And so when I looked that up, I'm like, okay, what does this mean? It means of or relating to a pre-literate or tribal people having cultural or physical similarities with the early ancestors. And so what the Lord told me after I went into prayer was that the Lord told me that this is definitely what should be expected. And he said that this is Psalms 91. He brought me to Psalm 91. So let me read Psalm 91. Psalm 91. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, he is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in him will I trust. Surely he should deliver thee from the snare of the fowler and from the noisome pestilence. He shall cover thee with his feathers, and under his wings shalt thou trust. His truth shall be thy shield and buckler. Thou shalt not be afraid for the terror by night, nor for the arrow that flieth by day, nor for the pestilence that walketh in darkness, nor for the destruction that wasteth at noonday. 1,000 shall fall at thy side, and 10,000 at thy right hand, but it shall not come nigh thee. Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling. For he shall give his angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways. They shall bear thee up in their hands, lest thou dash thy foot against a stone. Thou shalt tread upon the lion and adder, the young lion and the dragon shall thou trample under feet. Because he set his love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he hath known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life will I satisfy him and show him my salvation. The Lord, the dream that he gave me was all of that. All of that. I mean, there was thousands of people. Thousands of people dying left and right. And it was so real, y'all. It was so real that I admit I was afraid. I was afraid in my dream when I seen the plane crash beside me. Only thing I can think about was running. I wasn't going to run back into that holding place because I was going to die in there. But then I didn't know where to run because it was stuff happening everywhere. And it wasn't until I heard the voice, and the voice told me to stand still, like not move at all. You stay put in that place that you're at right now. And so that's what I did. Even though I kept wondering and I knew I couldn't get away from my thoughts with being afraid. So I kneeled and I just started praying to God, like, and asking him for his protection. And the girl said, the next plane is going to fall ahead of you to hit these people. Like I was being told, like, in detail what's getting ready to happen right before it happened. And I still was afraid, like, because it was real. And I just remember I was just praying. I was praying. And the Lord told me Psalm 91. Psalm 91. And then when I went and I read Psalm 91, I'm like, wow, that's exactly what this was. That's exactly what this was. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. Something's being stirred up here in the atmosphere around the world. I mean, this is only my third video I've ever made on YouTube. I'm not really used to this, but I do know. I prayed yesterday. I was praying and I was talking to the Lord. And I was asking him, I said, what is it that you want me to tell your people? I told him, I said, I'm going to be obedient. I can't run from whatever the Lord has called me to do any longer. I've been praying for obedience, the spirit of obedience. And I asked the Lord, I said, whatever you want me to tell your people, I tell them, if you need to show me something or tell me something, I will do it. I will do it. Whatever he felt the need for me to share with people. And he woke me up at 6:12 this morning and gave me that. So I'm just on here to share that with y'all. Something is getting ready to happen. And I hope and I pray that everybody take heed and take people serious when they talk like this. I know it might seem like people is going crazy, and I'm sure people think I'm going crazy, even friends of mine. But I'm just being obedient, and I know what the Most High told me to do. And I know what is to come, because he would not leave his own ignorant, or he won't leave us in the dark. He will tell us so that we know when it happens. We would know without a doubt that it is from the Lord. And he will protect us, so we have that security. So I just pray that whoever is watching this, that you'll be blessed. Pray Psalm 91 over your families, so that the Lord can cover you under his shadow and under his wings. Make the Most High, make him your dwelling place, your refuge, your fortress. So I pray that you all be blessed.